Bucky Irving has been absolutely fantastic, and people are wondering what his dynasty value is, and rightfully so, because now he's like a top 50 asset on Keep Trade Cut, meaning he's going to go in the top 4 rounds if you have dynasty startups taking place anywhere from now until the end of the season. But is it warranted? Should you actually be buying at that price? Should you be selling? Let's talk about that, and then we're going to talk about a couple of these guys that have skyrocketed up these rankings because it really has been a lot. And I'll be the first to tell you, we had Bucky Irving on our running back rankings too low. It was because we recorded that video very early, and Bucky Irving had 2 extremely good weeks in a row after that. And so, honestly, we would have ranked him higher had we done it actually when we released the video. We just released it a little bit early, and we probably shouldn't have. But you are absolutely right to say that Bucky Irving was too low. That was our fault. We were wrong about that. He's running back 10 on Keep Trade Cut. And I'm going to look at my rankings real quick. I do not have him at running back 10. I will not put him at running back 10. From a dynasty perspective, I don't think that's what he probably should be ranked. And we're going to go through Bucky Irving's analytics, and I think it could paint a little bit of a picture here. But it is interesting, at least. When we're looking at my dynasty ranks, I've got Bucky Irving still way too low. I'm going to move him now. I mean, Montgomery or Bucky Irving?
I'll take Monty.
It's that tier, though, right?
They're right there.
So
yeah. I'd prefer Chase Brown. Still, I would take some of those veterans that
Pacheco I probably would put below him.
Probably, yeah.
So that puts Bucky Irving around the 15 range for me, and I think that's a little bit more appropriate for his price in Dynasty Fantasy Football. So, when he does get up to these prices, when we're looking at the value-adjacent players to him, you're talking about guys like Zay Flowers, like T. Higgins, like Jonathan Taylor, like Romo Dunze, like Jared Goff, like Rashee Rice. If I can get those guys, I can get Rashee Rice for Bucky Irving, I'm doing it. And let's take a look at Bucky Irving's advanced analytics real quick and just kind of paint a picture of what his season has been like. Because as you know, he's splitting that backfield with Rachaad White. And the main thing for Bucky Irving is how good is he actually? And if he is this good, does he have long-term security? I mean, I heard John Gruden say that he thinks that the Buccaneers are trying to go the 2-headed monster route, like the Monty, like the Gibbs, have these guys and have them work together for a long time. And because of that, Bucky Irving is 40th in snap share, 44% snap share this year, 35th in opportunity share. Now, he's 28th in carries, 21st in targets, 20th in red zone touches. None of that grades out well. But when you jump down and you look at some of Bucky Irving's, efficiency metrics, it's actually crazy. He's 11th in yards per route run, which is great, because Rachaad White should be the receiving back there, but he's actually not been. 7th in true yards per carry.
Not the last 3 weeks, not since the bye week. Before he was. The last 3 weeks, it went away. So
yeah. He's 7th in true yards per carry, 6th in yards per touch, 4th in juke rate, 9th in evaded tackles, 8th in explosive rating, 11th in breakaway runs. He's 9th in yards created, 3rd in yards per touch. These are fantastic numbers. These are really, really good. All on 40% snap share. Now one of the main advantages to Bucky Irving is the offense he's playing in. You're playing in a very dynamic offense but Baker Mayfield has been able to move the ball down the field really well, really since last year, and carried into this year even without Dave Canales there. And so you have to be asking yourself, for the next 3 years, what is Bucky Irving's outlook? Now, right now, on this particular week, we have Bucky Irving, who's dealing with, I think, a back injury, back tightness, but it doesn't matter long term. I don't think it's a long term injury. Bucky Irving over the next 3 years. Do I think? And this is what you're asking yourself when you're choosing how to rank these guys in Dynasty. Do I think Bucky Irving is going to score more points over the next 3 years than Chase Brown? I do.
I think so too.
I'm going to rank him above there. Derrick Henry, I doubt that, but it's possible. Josh Jacobs, about the same. Joe Mixon, about the same. So I think that range 14 is warranted. So here's what I will say, because you could say whatever about Bucky. He's proven it on the field. His efficiency metrics show it. I think he's a soft sell if he gets too high, like into the high 40s overall. Yeah. But I get why people are excited about him, and I do think it's warranted based on what he's been able to do in such limited snap opportunity.
Yeah, and the snap opportunity, that is the one thing, too, that you're like, okay, less could just be more with Bucky Irving, and we might want to just get used to seeing this snap opportunity, because they like the way that they utilize Rachaad White on the field. They utilize him in a lot of passing down opportunities where he's not necessarily getting the targets, but again, he can pass block, he can do these other things, and then Bucky Irving's getting a lot of the valuable touches. But with Rachaad White and Bucky Irving, when you're comparing them right now, this is after week 14, Bucky's the running back 18 and Rachaad White is the running back 21. Both of them have missed actually Rachaad White has missed a game and Bucky obviously missed this last game against Vegas, so it kind of comes out in the wash. And you've had a couple of games here around the bye where both of them have produced in the same game. Bucky has the higher ceiling.
Yeah.
Now the thing with Bucky is like the do you sell, do you buy, do you hold sort of conversation. I think right now it's probably worth just holding and seeing what his value does in the offseason, because I think it's more likely than not that his value increases than it does decrease, because Rachaad White specifically is a very unpopular dynasty asset. He has not been well loved in the dynasty community for a while, really since his running back 4 season last year when he was incredibly inefficient. So this year, with him, being a little more efficient, being a little more effective in that offense alongside Bucky, I think people are going to be willing to overlook that because they just like the flashiness of Bucky a little bit more, and that's probably going to prop up his value quite a bit. So really what's left, the question that's left for you in the offseason is Bucky's production enough to keep his value propped up over some of the incoming rookie running backs in the class, because there's going to be a lot of them.
And it won't be.
I don't think it will be
running backs,
either.
Probably Johnson, Genty, and Hampton. I bet they're all three coming ranked ahead of him.
So you think he'll fall?
Well, yeah, I think he's just going to get pushed down.
You think okay?
Yeah. Because again, those players are going to be better. And worst case scenario is do you want Omari and Hampton in a committee, or do you want Bucky Irving in a committee? And I feel like everybody's going to say they're going to want Omari and Hampton there because he's just a better back. But
I think that's a fair call, because like for me, I go back and forth where, I mean, you kind of convince me the other way slightly, but then it's like the dynasty community does what they want to do with players that they love, and Bucky Irving is a guy that they love.
I know, and that is, I think, one reason why you could consider selling him very, very high if you can actually get those high prices. It's just a matter of whether you can or not. So.
Yeah.
Rookie draft season is literally right around the corner. We have been doing a bunch of rookie mocks and things like that. We did release version 1 of our 2025 rookie draft guide, so that's available, as well as a free team blueprint when you sign up for the annual MotherFlocker tier using code DOMAIN at flockfantasy.com/domain. It's going to include the trade calculator. It's going to include our rankings and our rookie draft guide. The team blueprint is going to be a comprehensive breakdown of your dynasty fantasy football team. We're going to give you everything you need to succeed, players you should be targeting, players you should be selling, what trades you should be making, what you should be doing with your picks and your rookie picks, and then we're going to give you your team archetype and 3-year outlook, which are going to tell you exactly what moves you need to make for your dynasty team as you head in the offseason. Nathan and I do all these personally. You get a free one with the annual MotherFlocker tier using code DOMAIN at flockfantasy.com/domain. You can also get them a la carte if you don't want the membership, but you also get all the tools of the membership. I'd recommend that. So, but let's get back to it.
Next guys that we're going to talk about here are very they're younger guys. It's going to be a stretch of young wide receivers, and we're going to start with JSN. JSN has really come into his own after the first 6 weeks of the season. His volume was incredibly inconsistent in the first 4 or 5 weeks. 2 targets, 16 targets, 3 targets, 12 targets, and then 7, 9, 6, 7, 13, 11, 7, 4, 5. It's been a lot better, and it's resulted in him being the wide receiver 5 in total points on the season. Now, when you look at points per game, when you look at the efficiency metrics, it's not as sexy. He's got I think he's 14th in points per game. But again, the best ability is availability in the NFL. And if you're looking at a guy like T. Higgins versus JSN, one of them staying on the field and the other one is not. JSN is staying on the field and he's delivering as a result. His yards per reception are very sustainable. He's going to break 1,000 yards barring injury this year. He's already, I think actually maybe he already did. I think he broke 1,000. No, he's at 911 yards right now on the year. So he'll break that. 5 touchdowns, 15.3 points per game. He's on pace to have 140 targets, I believe, on the year or close to that. The target share isn't anything crazy. He's 34th in the league in target share. Geno Smith throws the ball a lot. Here's what I want you to highlight though. The slot snaps, he is number 1 in the league in slot snaps. He is 5th in the league in routes run. He is 6th in the league in yards after catch, and his ability in the as a route runner is 3rd in the league. He's 183 route wins total. That's 3rd in the NFL. His route win rate is 36, which is totally fine. But again, what does this scream to you? A slot wide receiver that offers sustainable production. It's not going to be the most efficient production per touch because he's on the field every single play. A slot wide receiver is, again, he's a security blanket for Geno Smith. But also you're seeing things from JSN that you didn't see before that are elevating his upside on a week-to-week basis, where he is getting some shots downfield, right? He is getting balls across the middle of the field that are like at the second and third level that are getting him 30, 40 yards. You weren't seeing that last year. You weren't seeing that in the first half of the season consistently. You are now. So with JSN, his price, in my opinion, is absolutely merited. And that price at the moment is inching closer and closer to Garrett Wilson to a point where they are back-to-back on Keep Trade Cut. Garrett Wilson at wide receiver 12 and JSN at wide receiver 13. JSN the riser, Garrett Wilson the faller. In that range, the wide receivers I would consider in that range, Drake London in the same tier, A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, JSN, Ladd McConkey, George Pickens, and probably Brian Thomas Jr. in that tier as well. If you prefer JSN over every single one of those guys that I just mentioned, I don't think you're out of your mind.
No, I don't either.
I really don't.
I mean, and we were the kings of the JSN train for a really long time, so it's a little bit vindicating.
Then we kind of fell off.
We kind of fell off though, like
freaking out at the beginning.
And honestly,
of the year.
I really see both sides of that. I'm fine. JSN, since he's a wide receiver that's going to be value insulated, that he's kind of a dynasty darling. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely more fine holding him. Kind of the same thing with the next guy here too. Is going to be Ladd McConkey. Ladd is a little bit of a different story because similar to Bucky Irving, actually, it's the wide receiver version of Bucky Irving from an analytics standpoint. 27th in targets this year, 22nd in target share, 25 in target rate, but 6th in the league in slot snaps, similar to JSN, taking a lot of slot snaps. The thing with Ladd is, it's a 25% target share, and it's 22nd in the NFL. It's a good target share. It's enough, but the volume isn't there because they're not throwing the ball enough. Go figure. But a Greg Roman offense, not throwing the ball, I can't imagine. And 19th in receptions, 18th in reception yards. He's 16th in yards after catch, which is good. He doesn't have a ton of unrealized air yards, so he's been very efficient. But that's kind of what I want to talk about, actually. His efficiency is very, very good. He is 9th in the league in yards per out run. Which again, that's JSN. JSN is inefficient. McConkey is very efficient. 9th in the league in yards per out run. He is also 15th in yards per target. He is 8th in the league in yards per team pass attempt. This is all very good. So again, when he's getting targets, he's producing, and you've seen that. In terms of points per game, he's 27th in points per game this year. But when you're looking at his performance on the season, he's the wide receiver 21 because he's up to this point has managed to stay healthy. Obviously, missed his last game, but that really jumps off the page for Ladd McConkey. Is he's just been efficient, and the problem is with Ladd, he is now going, and when you're talking about JSN, he is legit right behind JSN. He is the 36th ranked player on Keep Trade Cut.
Yeah.
I get it. He's playing with an elite quarterback. He is extremely efficient. He's been a wide receiver 2, but again, a wide receiver 3 in points per game. Here's my very serious question to you, and you can let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think that the volume is going to get better for McConkey over the next 2 years? I think as long as Greg Roman is there, the answer is probably going to be not. And so here's what you have in this range. JSN, who's producing as a wide receiver 1. Garrett Wilson, who has wide receiver 1 upside. George Pickens, who has been producing. Is he still a wide receiver 1 in the season, Pickens? Even though he missed?
He'll be right on the fringe.
He's a wide receiver 2 right now. Actually, wide receiver 3. But you've got Pickens in that range as well, and that story is just a little bit different. Obviously, we've talked a lot about Pickens on this channel. But Rashee Rice is right there, who is a wide receiver 1 he's playing. T. Higgins is going to score as many, if not more, points on a higher volume offense, passing offense, and kind of the same thing with Zay Flowers.
I would down tier to Rome Odunze.
You got Rome. I didn't even mention Odunze, but I think are there any of those guys that you would probably take Ladd over there? Any of them?
Again, I already said I would probably down tier to Odunze, if you could. Are you taking Ladd over Zay? Not really. I think they're kind of. I would rather have Higgins over Ladd.
Rashee.
I would rather have Pickens and Rashee over Ladd.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, these are guys behind him.
It's getting a little too high for me.
I personally think
so.
Now, the nice thing again about Ladd is he's going to maintain his value, and he's definitely another one of those guys where the dynasty community is going to elevate him and elevate his status. But I think he's a little bit too high here. Again, looking at his target log on the season. His most targets in a game was, of course, the last one. He was playing against me in the Flock League, so he had his career game. 12 targets at literally every freaking player. Literally every player. Khalil Shakir last week. Zach Charbonnet last week. Every single player. Obviously, again, very good, but the targets have been around 7 per game, and you want it to be a little bit higher than that. I'm glad he's producing without touchdowns, so that's the flip side of that. I don't know. Lad, I get it. If you want to hold him, fine, because he's a value-insulated wide receiver. I just feel like there are other value-insulated wide receivers there that will score more points.
There's a benefit to having a lot of really good wide receivers that are being elevated right now in dynasty value, and that means if you're not comfortable with Ladd McConkey, you can pivot or even slightly down tier from him, and you're pretty much just as comfortable. When it comes to the upside and opportunity there's too many good situations with alpha upside opportunities that are really better than Ladd's situation long term. So
what about Pickens?
Pickens is one of those guys. Again, I already said that I would prefer Pickens over Ladd McConkey. I'm a big fan of what he's been doing with Russell Wilson. And again, I'll keep it kind of short and sweet with him because we've spent quite a bit of time talking about him on this channel already this season since Russ came into that picture. But since Russ started playing, I think against the Jets in week 7, 22, 11, 20, 16, 8, and 16 points. Again, you had a couple games, 11 and 8 points there. Those are the ones where he didn't have a touchdown. He had 16 points in a game where he also did not have a touchdown. The ones where he scores touchdowns, 22, 20, and 16 points. The target volume is consistently there. His big playability is undeniable. This guy is a high-end wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver 1 when he is healthy and playing on the field. His red zone targets have not decreased. His red zone opportunity has not gone down since Russ has been on the field. That's been a big reason why I think he's such a good price right now. And I think he could skyrocket up boards even more down the line and in the offseason? Yeah, I do, because the dynasty community is historically bullish on George Pickens. And that is absolutely baked into his price and baked into what his potential value upside could be. He is, I hope he can eclipse 1,000 yards this year just for the sake of him doing it a second straight year, but we'll see with the hamstring injury and how much time he misses there. It's like a grade 2 hamstring according to Adam Schefter, but the red zone targets, he's 5th in the league even with missing a game with 16 red zone targets. We've been through this before. He's not going to blow you away with his total route wins. His route win rate is honestly really, really bad. Target separation, that's not what he's known for doing. His contested catch rate is fine. He has some good opportunities there. Yards per route run, he's 12th in the league. He makes the most out of the routes that he consistently runs in that offense. And I think Arthur Smith and Mike Tomlin have done a really great job at taking advantage of his skill set in that offense specifically. And he's really capitalized on that from a fantasy perspective. So touchdowns on the year, only 3. He's not been touchdown dependent. Again, while he's been productive here. So he to me is going to continue to be on the up in an offense that just looks so much better with competent quarterback play. And I don't expect that really to change anytime soon as long as Russ is doing this.
Yeah, let's talk about Chuba Hubbard, actually. Chuba Hubbard is the running back 18, currently on Keep Trade Cut. And I'm looking at my own rankings here, and I do feel like there are a couple different cases for Chuba Hubbard that you could make. Number one, he did just sign a contract. And I do want to be a little bit careful with that because the context behind the contract is one where it does make a difference in how you should be valuing in dynasty leagues. There is a potential out after next year in that contract. So I don't love that. I definitely think that kind of it's basically kind of like Josh Jacobs and how we viewed his contract last year, although we think Josh Jacobs is going to get extended and keep going, and rightfully so. He's been fantastic, but I just don't really see with Chuba. I have him ranked as the running back 19 in my dynasty ranking, so about where the market has him. I'm going to keep him there. I'm going to move Brooks down, obviously. Yeah, short term, I'm more confident in Chuba Hubbard. He's had a good year. When you're looking at his, advanced analytics, it's kind of this was a volume thing, not really an efficiency thing. He's not really efficient. He's like a running back 2 in efficiency, running back 1 in volume. So it really has been, the volume for him. I'm pretty sure as well the total touchdowns, he's had 9 total touchdowns on the year, which, it's a lot for a running back as well. He has 9th in targets, so it's not, he has some good versatility there. He's going to get some, high floor games with the receiving upside. But again, next year I'm confident in Chuba. Every year after that, if Bryce Young doesn't pan out, this is going to be a team that is still rebuilding. And with Chuba, I think the main goal of the contract was maybe to get him under contract for next year with a promise of, hey, we'll increase your salary here in the future.
If Brooks doesn't work out.
If Brooks doesn't work out, which is possible now. It's more possible. And so I wouldn't go beyond giving like a mid to late second for Chuba Hubbard probably. You wouldn't give an early second. So
He scares me.
He does. He's not.
But I like him more with the Brooks injury now.
I do. So I think, when you're looking at his overall ranking, he's being valued in some spots where I think you could get a good return for him. Terry McLaurin, I would take over him. I would pivot to Joe Mixon if you can do that. These guys are very close. DJ Moore, I would take in a heartbeat. It would be a great pivot.
Not even close. Yeah.
26 first. I would take any 26 first for Chuba Hubbard.
Ayuk is right there.
Ayuk, I would take for him. TJ Hawkinson, I would take for him. Josh Downs, I would take for him. I would take Alvin Kamara. And then you get down to the Keon Coleman. If you can make that move, I'm absolutely making that move.
Sounds like he's kind of a hard sell for us right now.
Yeah, honestly, looking at this, I guess he kind of is a hard sell.
Yeah.
I feel like there's pretty low risk in selling Chuba Hubbard too, honestly. So, with Chuba, I like Chuba, and I like having him on contending dynasty teams. But the fact of the matter is, I can find guys in that range that score more points with better contracts that are better running backs than Chuba. And so, I really don't think there's a reason to keep him, this elevated in the rankings. So,
yeah, Cortland Sutton is he's been a great story this year. Very similar to Terry McLaurin. He's not as good as Terry McLaurin as a true wide receiver, but his ability to finally find a way to produce with an actual quarterback throwing him the ball, and Bo Nix, who a lot of people didn't believe in, and Bo Nix has looked really good. Candidate for Rookie of the Year. The last 6 weeks since Sutton has been consistent, 17, 23, 19, 14, 29, and 16 points. He's been a wide receiver 1. He is a wide receiver 1 on the year, a wide receiver 12 on the year in total points, even with a 0 target game against New Orleans in week 7, if you remember that one. So coming off the bye, playing Indy this week, and a nice little matchup against Cincinnati in week 17. He could very well finish as a low-end wide receiver 1 this year, because he's been so explosive and looking so good. He's going to be 30 at the end of the season, and I don't quite recall what his contract situation is, but I do remember, like, before the season even started, Sean Payton was looking to trade him, but he did get extended this year.
No, it might have been last year he got extended.
I thought it was a couple years ago.
Maybe it was.
Cortland
Sutton's been a guy we've talked about.
It was an extension with Tim Patrick back in the day. Yeah, he's gotten out. They picked up his option. So he's in 2024, he's in 2025. His cap hit's going to be $20 million in 2025. So I think he's in Denver for 1 more year. So when you're looking at that, probably baked into his price being tied to Bo Nix for 1 more season, you're definitely looking at Cortland Sutton as an objective contending asset that's only going to lose value from here on out. So again, this is going to be a very easy, if I'm contending, I'm holding Sutton and I'm making a championship push right now and it's worth it. If I'm reloading or rebuilding, ship him off as soon as you can. Again, a lot of you have probably already had your trade deadlines, but if he finishes out the season really well and vibes are high with Cortland Sutton and his dynasty value, just ship him off. There's no reason for you to have him as a rebuild or a reload. Very conditional. Just stick with them. You're probably just going to want to let him die on your roster if you've got him as on a contending team. Yeah. So, that's those. We got some other guys we could talk about here, but those are the main ones we wanted to cover. Let us know in the comments if there's anybody else you'd like to hear about, and let us know what you're doing with some of these guys. Again, I think, with Sutton, he's kind of a die on your roster. If he's a contender type of guy, I'll let him die on some of my rosters. I traded for Sutton this year in 2 different leagues on contending teams because he's performing that well right now, and I'm willing to just let him die on those rosters. And so, but do let us know. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you're subscribed if you play Dynasty. And also, if you would like access to all of our Dynasty tools, you get the trade calculator, you get the rankings, you get a team blueprint, which is a comprehensive breakdown of your Dynasty fantasy football team done by Nathan and I. We do all of these personally. We look at your team, we grade your positions, we give you your cornerstones, and then we give you your 3-year outlook and your team archetype, which are the 2 things you really need to diagnose what moves you should be making. We have a whole system built into this you can use to help build your Dynasty fantasy football team and make sure you're making the right trades. We'll give you specific trades you should be making, specific players to target and players to sell as well. Flockfantasy.com/domain. Make sure you use code domain. Annual MotherFlocker to get you a free blueprint as well as the rookie draft guide and all the tools. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you later.